Hi, my name is Sylvie. I help women feel great and lose weight through fasting and whole food nutrition. And today I decided to take some time from my busy TikTok schedule to make a YouTube video on which type of intermittent fasting is best for you. So we're going to touch briefly on the benefits of intermittent fasting, the various methods of intermittent fasting, and then I'm going to help you decide which type of intermittent fasting is best for you depending on your health goals. One of the main benefits of intermittent fasting is the secretion of human growth hormone. In case you haven't heard about human growth hormone, or HGH, it is produced by the pituitary gland and it decreases as we age. It is used by your body to repair tissue. There's a few ways that you can increase HGH production, and fasting obviously is one of them. Also exercise and sleep. Another benefit of intermittent fasting is ketone production. I am sure you've heard about the ketogenic diet, and many people swear by the ketogenic diet because when your body functions on ketones, you feel more energetic, you feel more focused, and also you have less appetite. So many people lose weight on a ketogenic diet. But there's another way you can be in ketosis, and that's through fasting. Intermittent fasting is enough to get you in ketosis. So when you fast for 12 hours overnight, most likely if you were to measure your ketones in the morning, you would see that your body has a little bit, usually not enough to be considered into ketosis, but your glycogen stores are really low and you are starting to produce ketones. If you fast for longer, say until lunch, then you may actually get into ketosis. So you'll be able to not only get some of the benefits of ketosis, but you will also become more metabolically flexible, which has many benefits, because when you become metabolically flexible, you don't get hangry as much, your blood sugar is more stable, and your overall health improves, because that brings us to the next benefit, because you become more insulin sensitive. When you are more insulin sensitive, it means that your body uses glucose more effectively. That will reduce blood sugar spikes that, again, cause food cravings. And also, when you keep your blood sugar stable, it's just good for your overall health. Another great benefit of intermittent fasting is that it is a very sustainable lifestyle. There's many ways to be healthy and to lose weight. You can, instead of doing intermittent fasting, you can make sure you count your calories at every meal. You make sure you don't eat too much. But a lot of these methods are not sustainable long term because people feel deprived all the time, and nobody wants to spend the rest of their lives feeling deprived. The advantage of intermittent fasting is that even though you have to deprive yourself when you are fasting, it's temporary, and you know that entering your eating window, then you get to enjoy food freedom. So that is an amazing benefit. Before we talk about the best intermittent fasting method for you, you need to have an idea of what options are out there. So I'm going to go through this fairly quickly because I assume that you know about most of them already. So there's daily fasting. With daily intermittent fasting, well, as the name implies, you are fasting every day, and you pick how long your fasting window is. And the most common fasting window is 16 hours, but you can fast for 18 hours, 20 hours. Some people do OMAD, which is one meal a day, and they are fasting for 23 hours each day. Another option is to have a 24-hour fast twice a week. That's called the Eat, Stop, Eat method. And with the Eat, Stop, Eat method, you may start fasting after breakfast around, say, 9 a.m. one morning, and then you'll be fasting the whole day overnight, and then you'll be eating again the next day at 9 a.m. Another fasting method is the 36-hour fast, and that's called alternate day fasting. With alternate day fasting, you fast completely overnight. So you might start fasting at 8 p.m. The first night, and then you'll be fasting the next day, and the following night again until 8 a.m. in the morning, and that'll be your 36 hours. Also, some people do what is called the 5-2 method. The 5-2 method is similar to the 36-hour fast, but except you actually get to eat some calories during that 12-hour period during the day. You get to have about 500 calories, which would be around 25% your regular calorie intake. So now you have a good idea of what intermittent fasting methods are available to you. Let's look at how you can decide which one to try, which one would work best for your needs. Most people get started with intermittent fasting because they want to lose weight. If that's your goal, I'll guide through this, and I'll have a few questions that you can ask yourself to decide which intermittent fasting you can get started with. But if your goal is just longevity and general health, I recommend you look into a modified fast, maybe a prolonged modified fast, or even if you have experienced fasting and if you feel ready for that, you could go for a prolonged water fast, a 3-day fast, for example. These are amazing to increase your health and longevity. They also work great to lose weight, but if you want to lose weight, it's a good idea to look at shorter fasts that you can do more often as well. And when you look at the different methods and you try and you want to decide which one to choose, I want you to ask yourself if you can sustain the method long term. So you look at the methods and ask yourself, can you envision yourself doing this long term? When you lose weight through intermittent fasting, you have to realize that it's not a band-aid solution, and that if you don't want to gain all the weight back as quickly or even more quickly than you lost it, chances are you'll have to keep doing what you're doing forever. It's just a fact. Number 2, is it going to allow enough of a calorie deficit to create the results you want? So to lose about 1 pound a week, you need to have a calorie deficit of about 3,500 calories each week. And that's a lot of calories. It means about 500 calories a day for most people. And so, for example, if you are doing the Eat, Stop, Eat method, which requires you to fast for 24 hours twice a week, that would give you probably around 3,000 calories of a deficit. Another question I want you to ask yourself is your chosen method allowing you to fast long enough to get into ketosis at least occasionally? So if you pick a daily fasting method that's maybe 14 hours, that may not be enough for you to get into ketosis. And even 16 hours, depending on whether you have been in ketosis before or not, it's easier to get into ketosis once you've done it. Maybe it might be a good idea to buy a ketone monitor to help you determine at first if you actually are getting into ketosis. But also, if you try a modified fast or any type of longer fast, maybe even the 36-hour fast, you will definitely get into ketosis, and with time you will be able to tell, you'll be able to feel it. And it's a good idea that you pick a method, an intermittent fasting method that allows you to get there at least a few times a week. And the last question you can ask yourself is, do you have more than one way to track your progress? The scale doesn't tell the whole story, and if you're trying to track your progress just using the scale, you might get really discouraged. Many women find that they start losing inches before they start losing weight. And sometimes women don't lose weight, or not even that many inches, but you can tell by looking at their face that they look slimmer. Another thing that also happens is sometimes your body has some healing to do before you start losing weight on the scale. Some women notice that they are not losing weight at first, and maybe after 2 weeks, suddenly they drop 5 pounds. So that it's very important that you remain consistent. You don't let yourself become discouraged. You keep at it and you keep experimenting until you find the method that works for you. If you are a beginner, I would like to encourage you to consider trying the 5-2 method. I think the 5-2 method is a great method for beginners. Also, the Eat Stop Eat method, which is a complete fast for 24 hours. What I like most with the 5-2 method is the fact that you get to eat some calories. And so it just makes the fasting day a little bit more sustainable for the average person who has no experience with fasting. Another great method that has been very effective for me, and that could work for beginners, is the warrior method. So having a 20-hour fast and a 4-hour eating window is my favorite method. Now that I get into ketosis, I find that the fasting window is so much easier, and then I enjoy, during that 4-hour window, I enjoy being able to eat whatever food I want. And so that's my favorite method. If you find that you are not losing weight with intermittent fasting and you've looked at all the questions, you've asked yourself all the questions that I just mentioned, watch my other video on not losing weight with intermittent fasting. You might find some additional information that will help you evaluate what's going on there. But more than anything, I want you to realize that this is a journey, and I want you to start enjoying the journey and not stress with it. Being stressed about not losing weight is certainly not going to help your situation. And you need to start thinking about this in a way that you are doing something good for your body, and the weight loss will happen when it's supposed to happen. Choosing the best intermittent fasting method for you is not an exact science, and so you'll need to experiment. You'll need to have patience with yourself, and you'll need to learn to listen to your body. And just for fun, if you would like to take my quiz, I have a quiz called What is Your Fasting Personality? And so go take that quiz, and that'll help you decide maybe where to get started on your fasting journey. And not only that, but you will receive 3 free quick start guides that will give you all the information to get started with any of the fasting methods we just talked about. I hope you found this video useful, and thanks for watching.